excessively censored by YouTube and SPLC. This channel has been known to trigger leftists and trolls alike. Proceed with extreme caution. You have been warned.
This is something that only time and prayers and just love from the family gonna take us.
4 men have been injured in a shooting outside of a home there, and deputies say the men managed to drive themselves to get help.
Police responded to reports of gunfire. When they arrived, they found 3 victims
Our
shot.
attention to Easter Sunday in Detroit, which sadly was filled with gun violence. At least 6 shootings in a span of 24 hours.
No arrest yet in the mass shooting at Grand Hall in Mobile. 5 teenagers shot, 2 others injured at the Teen Bash concert on Halls Mill Road.
Police in Hickory asking if a murderer is on the loose. Pushing police in Hickory asking if a murderer is on the loose. 4 men were shot outside a bar just before closing time early this morning.
A fight broke out between members of the group, and during the scuffle, one of the members of the crowd, later identified as Don LaFortune, fired 2 shots.
2 people were killed and 1 person injured when shots rang out in a mall parking lot.
4 people shot outside a Jacksonville home 2 weeks after a teen who lived there was killed in a crash involving a stolen car.
Violent 24 hours across Hampton Roads. 7 people were hurt, 1 killed after 3 separate shootings in 3 separate
One local
cities.
community is calling for an end to gun violence altogether.
It comes just 2 days after someone shot 2 men on Mariner Street.
Annual Easter block party to promote peace turns into violence. 2 people are now dead, both shot near the intersection of Dunn Avenue and Lem Turner Road.
A fight at a gas station leads to a shooting involving a party bus.
And that fight broke out just before 3 a.m. at a Citgo station on Wyoming near Joy Road. A short time later, shots fired into a party bus on I-96.
A violent weekend in Detroit. It's Easter Sunday, and police are responding to several shootings. Good evening, I'm Amy Lang.
All of this and more on Blame the Thug, Not the Gun.
Damn!
Now YouTube censored.
I'm mad as hell right now. Yes, I am.
Viewer discretion is advised. Mama Black.
This program contains language and sequences some viewers may find disturbing.
Daddy.
Words from a young boy to his father who was shot and killed last night in Algiers. His loved ones now left in shock.
Well, seeing the victim's son is heartrending. His father was gunned down Wednesday night in a quadruple shooting at an apartment complex in Algiers. Tonight, we're learning more about the victims and what happened. Kristen Pierce joins us live from the scene. And Kristen, you talked to that family. They obviously look so distraught.
They really were. They're completely heartbroken. 4 people were shot up here. 1 man died. Earlier today, his family started a memorial in his honor. But they say the hardest part about this is having to explain his death to his 4-year-old son.
It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be.
An emotional day for family members of Ryan Massey. The 25-year-old was shot multiple times at the Garden Oaks apartment complex in Algiers. New Orleans police say the shooting happened Wednesday night just before 7. NOPD say a verbal argument turned physical. Ryan and 3 others, including a 1-year-old boy, were shot. 1 man was shot in the head, a woman shot multiple times in the body, and the little boy was shot in the foot. Ryan was hit in the body and arms. He died at the hospital.
This is something that only time and prayers and just love from the family gonna take us to get through.
Cookie says Ryan was like a son to her, and the hardest part is having to explain his death to his 4-year-old son, Aiden. What do you think that's going to be like for Aiden growing up? Because right now he's just so young.
I can't imagine what it's gonna be like.
Family members say Ryan was recently released from jail and he was on the right path. They say his life revolved around his son.
He was really trying to make up for lost time, basically. And it's just unexpected that it happened like this. We just had to come and, I guess, make sure everything was not just a dream. And, it was really real.
New Orleans police are still investigating. They haven't released any information about a suspect or the condition of the other 3 victims. Reporting live in Algiers, Kristen Pierce, Eyewitness News.
Keeping a close watch on this breaking news alert from Northwest Harris County.
That's right. 4 men have been injured in a shooting outside of a home there, and deputies say the men managed to drive themselves to get help. Channel 2's Sophia Ojeda on that scene for us, tracking every breaking development. Sophia.
Good morning, Andy and Rachel. Investigators tell us that they're searching for two men in a gray-colored Toyota sedan with a spoiler. They believe that those men were behind the drive-by shooting that happened in front of this home here. This is on the 8500 block of Red Cliff Drive. Now, investigators say this happened around 3 o'clock this morning. We know that the four men were outside of this home, and then a car pulled up and opened fire. The four men were shot. The men, though, were able to drive themselves to a gas station for help. One of the victims' mothers drove two to the hospital. The other two were taken by ambulance. The one man who was in critical condition has been upgraded to stable condition and is now in the ICU. Again, all four men were shot here in a drive-by shooting. That is what investigators are telling us in front of this home on the 8500 block of Red Cliff. Deputies now searching for two men in a gray-colored Toyota sedan with a spoiler. If you have any information, contact Harris County Sheriffs. Reporting live in Northwest Harris County, Sophia Ojeda, KPRC, Channel 2 News.
On in Asbury Park. This happened Saturday night in Atlantic and Monmouth Avenue. Police responded to reports of gunfire. When they arrived, they found 3 victims shot. They were transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. 2 additional victims with gunshot wounds arrived at the hospital in separate vehicles. Anyone with information is asked to call police this morning.
At the root of every gun ban or restriction is this false promise: that firearms can be divided neatly into 2 groups, good and bad. And if we can just get rid of the bad ones, we'll all be safer. That's why the anti-gun politicians hold press conferences where they hold up the scariest guns they can find and outright lie about their capabilities in order to appear reasonable to people that just don't know any better. The truth is, they want to ban every gun in America. It's just not politically savvy to admit it. So they try to achieve their goals one gun and one accessory at a time. I served in the military for 12 years. I've used a lot of different firearms and platforms in a lot of different situations. And I know firsthand that what works for one person may be completely inadequate for another. All these firearms in front of me have different features for different purposes. And that's exactly what they are. They're purpose-driven. Good and bad. There's no good or bad guns. They're going to do what you drive them to do. If I have a collapsible stock and a vertical grip on here, all these things are purpose-driven for a different reason. You know, just because one looks different than the other doesn't mean that somebody can't take it and go do harm with it. If I'm in California and you're not okay with a 30-round magazine, but you're okay with somebody getting shot with a pump-action shotgun, you really have to ask yourself at the end of the day, what exactly are you trying to accomplish? And what it is at the end of the day is you have to admit it to yourself that you just want to ban all guns, period. Banning some guns, but not all of them, doesn't make anyone safer. It restricts the options of the law-abiding citizens to choose the right firearm for their personal needs and capabilities. So to all the anti-gunners out there, here's an honest proposal. Either you admit it, that you want to ban all guns, or you stop endangering good people by limiting their option to protect themselves.
On 5, no arrest yet in the mass shooting at Grand Hall in Mobile. 5 teenagers shot, 2 others injured at the Teen Bash concert on Halls Mill Road. 1 person is still in the hospital tonight in critical condition. All of this happened around 10:30 last night. WKRG News 5's Jason Carter joins us now live from Grand Hall with more. Jason?
Good evening, Roseanne. Well, of course, this event was called the Teen Bash. It was kind of a way to kick spring break off, having high school teens come in here to see a show. But as they made their way into these doors of the Grand Hall, they didn't realize that as they were looking for a live concert, they'd end up running for their lives as shots rang out.
We were on spring break. They started doing a little shooting outside, and people were piling on. They were piling up everywhere.
The shooting started outside, but after crowds of people went into the Grand Hall for sanctuary, the shooting continued in there. 2 witnesses couldn't believe what was happening.
Bop, 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 bop. Maybe 5 or 6 gunshots. And after it was over, I saw people rushing and running. Then I got up, and they started shooting again. When they did the shooting outside, they rushed the crowd inside, and one of the guys rushed inside with the crowd and started shooting on the inside.
Not only were 5 teens shot and sent to local hospitals, but 2 others were injured in the mad rush for safety. Mobile police questioned numerous concert goers. They handcuffed to put others in the backs of their squad cars. However, no one has been arrested or charged. Police Chief Lawrence Batiste says the kids at the concert aren't the only ones to blame.
Children can't go out and buy guns. Someone has to supply them with the weapons.
Chief Batiste says the investigation is in the preliminary stages, but he's calling on the community for help, specifically parents.
And it's important that they do their part in helping us, making sure that their children are in a safe environment and doing everything they can to ensure the safety of other children.
Now, the owners of the club, the Orders of the Incas, say they are horrified by the events that took place last night, and they will do everything in their power to help the authorities in their investigation. Reporting live from the Grand Hall, I'm Jason Carter, WKRG News 5, local news you can count on.
Our attention to Easter Sunday in Detroit, which sadly was filled with gun violence. At least 6 shootings in a span of 24 hours, and you can see on the map spread out over Detroit's east and west sides. Nick Monticelli joins us out live outside of police headquarters. And Nick, for each shooting, there's a gunman that is still out on the loose.
I think that's the most frustrating part about this, Rhonda. Good morning to you. Is that there are no suspects in custody. They may have an idea of who they're looking for in some of these, but no arrests have been made. So the big thing this morning is that if you know anything about all of these, you're asked to call police, and we're going to run through each one of them for you. The most recent shooting was last night around 8:30 at Lappin and Hickory near Shaner on the east side. According to police, a black vehicle pulled along the driver's side of this vehicle, and someone started firing shots. A 17-year-old was shot in the neck. He is in critical condition. His 26-year-old brother has a graze wound on his wrist. Around 5 a.m., 40-year-old Erica Farley, a mother of 3, was killed and another man seriously injured after someone fired shots through a back window at their home on Belfour.
I just feel, because I'm a mother of 3, and I wouldn't even want that on my own kid. I couldn't imagine my kids want to go through nothing like that.
At the same time, there was a robbery and shooting on the northwest side on Asbury Park. That victim was shot in the foot. Looking at this map puts things in perspective. Of the other 3 shootings, 2 were on the west side, one on Myers, another at Dane's Social Club on West McNichols. On the east side, a man was killed on Holcomb near Gratiot.
Then we heard 3 shots. Pow, pow, pow.
The Holcomb shooting was around 3 a.m. Neighbors found a man in his 20s shot in the head.
When we walked around here, we seen the gentleman laying in the street, and they were covering him up, the police.
Detroit police say the victim on Myers was found hiding in the bushes. He was shot several times.
Then we heard gunshots, at least about 5 to 6 of them.
And the victim shot at Dane's Social Club was hit repeatedly. Police say he may have been the unintended target. 6 different shootings. I have a very hard time believing that somebody doesn't know something about these things. So please call the Detroit Police Department, or you can call in a tip anonymously by calling Crime Stoppers. That number is 1-800-SPEAK-OUT. We're live in DPD headquarters. Looking forward to this.
Special thanks to RG Channel's contributor T. Martin.
And as always, thank you for watching. If you like this video, please consider subscribing. Also follow us on the usual media for more interesting information like
this. Channel moderators are Jer Shax and Michael Thomas. Thanks for your diligence and dedication. This has been a T. Martin and RG Channel collaboration.
Fight their asses.